Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and ranking member to all my colleagues, and there are only 100 of us. We know each other pretty well. This is my first appearance in the Finance Committee, probably last. Y'all work on complicated stuff, and I'm glad you like this stuff. Seems kind of boring to me, but it's important what you do, and I respect the intellect of the people on this committee because our economy needs the best minds that we can find on the Finance Committee. And we need a Secretary of Treasury that knows what he's doing, has the trust of the President, and loves his country. Your ship came in with this guy. So Scott Bessent's from South Carolina. He's academically gifted and real-world tested. He went to Yale, so nobody's perfect. When he told me that, I said, I don't know about that. But anyway, he's really, really smart, and this is a complicated area. Now, why am I here? Because Trump won. I wouldn't be here if Trump hadn't won. Trump won because more people voted for him. And he had to pick people to form his cabinet. And when he talked about the Secretary of Treasury, I'm not the normal person you would go to ask about because this is not so much my portfolio. But when he mentioned Scott, I said, oh my God, home run from my point of view. I mean, you talk about somebody who's academically gifted, understands the world. Scott, like any Republican president, would pick Scott. I mean, he's really understands the president and what the president wants to do. And the reason I vote for almost everybody, for every president, is I believe, colleagues, that every president deserves a cabinet that they know and trust and can rely upon. If I had to vote for people based on agreeing with them, I wouldn't vote for anybody y'all picked. That's not the standard for me. I vote for people who I disagree with because I think they're qualified. So I would just ask the committee to think for a minute, is this man qualified? Does he have the background and the intelligence and the character to serve President Trump and our nation's Secretary of Treasury? I think by any reasonable test of qualifications, he excels beyond the bare minimum to the highest level of excellence. But that's just my opinion. So my goal here today is to tell you a little bit about him. You've heard from the chairman about his success in the financial world, about his academic qualifications. He was born in Little River, South Carolina. Why do they call it Little River? Because it's little, and it's a river. It's in Horry County. How many of you heard of Myrtle Beach? Most of you. Well, this is somewhere between Conway and Myrtle Beach. At 9 years old, his first job was to set up beach chairs and umbrellas in North Myrtle Beach. And apparently you did well there because North Myrtle Beach is thriving. He went to North Myrtle Beach High School, and he was voted most likely to succeed in 1980. And we have a high school classmate of his. What did they see in him? The same thing I see. Someone who really is talented and works hard and just a good person. The type of people that you think are going to succeed, but you hope succeed. So he lives in Charleston, in a really nice place. Going from Little River to Charleston is about a 2.5-hour drive, but it's a real change. Since I represent South Carolina, I like them both very much. He's married, John, his husband's right behind me. And they have 2 kids, Caroline and Cole, and they're absolutely adorable. And from a South Carolina point of view, we're really proud of Scott. I was over the top happy when President Trump picked him because I know him. I know where he came from. The rich and powerful don't live in Little River. This is truly the American dream. This man has been successful at everything he's ever tried to do. He's worked really hard. And why did President Trump pick him? Because he believes that President Trump's economic agenda is good for this country, and he wants to help President Trump be successful. And here's what Scott said. I think it's the melding of economic policy with national security. Economic policy and national security are now indispensable, and Donald Trump understands that. So I'm here to tell you, folks, I agree with that. If we don't have energy independence, we're less safe. If we don't get our debt in order, we're less safe. I am known around here as kind of a national security guy, but I do understand economic policy matters. If you want to clean up the environment, a carbon fee seems to be a good way to do it, to punish China and India for bad carbon practices. Call it a tariff, call it whatever you want to do. So President Trump won. I'm here today because he won. I'm here today because Scott lives in South Carolina. I'm here today to tell you, if you use qualifications as your test, this is the easiest vote you'll ever take. If your goal is to play like the election didn't happen, then I guess you'll vote no. That's just where we're headed in the Senate. When you lose an election, you get up and dust yourself off and you get ready for the next one. But I was honored when he asked me to introduce him, because I know this man, and America will be in good hands if he's our Secretary of Treasury. He deserves this job. He's qualified for this job. And President Trump, thank you for picking him. On behalf of all of us in South Carolina, we're extremely proud of you, and we wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.